Well, right, not the three of us have a list of things that are going to be needed before we are married, and so far I have 3 pages of things, and I am sure that as time goes by we will need more. And with that Della gave him a quick hug. But it was going to be back to work for Della and Perry and Paul. They were all busy, and now Della and Perry had a house to pay for. Della was a little sad to leave, but she knew it was time for them to go back to work. The 3 of them were going to meet Saturday and start their shopping together. Della couldn't wait. The afternoon was spent once more in court on another case involving their client being accused of armed robbery. As usual, Perry Mason did not take guilty clients, and it was his hope that he could prove that this client was no different. The trial was continued to the next day, and once again Perry had found himself on opposite sides with his friend Hamilton Berger. Della and Perry left the courthouse at just a little past 5 and went back to their new home. There was still a couple of things that Della wanted to check. She had not made very many notes about the finished basement, and she and Perry went down there for another look. The room was huge, about 35 feet by 15. With a wet bar. It would be a great place once they had children, but Perry thought that they could wait on furnishing it if they were running out of time. The painter met them there at 6:30, and Perry and Della showed him where they wanted to have him paint. There was little to be done, except one of the bathrooms upstairs had some hideous wallpaper that Della wanted removed as soon as possible and replaced by a pale yellow. The pool house had a lot of humidity exposure and would need to be painted soon, so they thought that it would be a good idea for the bathrooms to be painted before the wedding. He told them that he would begin painting in the morning and that he should have the job completed within 2 days. He would do the bathroom in the house first and then complete the job at the pool house later. The week went slow, and finally it was time for the 3 girls to head to the mall. The 3 men were headed out to look at the outside tools that they would need. There were many things that they would need to purchase for the new home, and they too would be busy. Since they were headed to a home and plant hardware store and then would be going to the television store at the mall, it was decided that they would meet each other for lunch. Perry would call when they were done at the hardware store, and they would all meet at the restaurant at the mall. The day was fun for the 3 girls. They started at one of the larger stores at the mall that specialized in kitchen ware. Here they bought a large miser and a hand mixer, and tons of utensils and a cookbook. They had so many things in their bags that they had to go out to the car and put them in the trunk. When they were done, they headed to one of the signature stores. But Perry was on the phone and the men were ready to meet them at the mall. They had not noticed that it was already 12:30 and they had only looked at a few pieces of furniture and been to the kitchen store. Della had found a couch and coffee tables that she liked for their living room. The couch was a wraparound couch with recliners on either side. It came with a love seat also that could be used as a recliner. She thought that Perry might like this because they could use it for when they wanted to cuddle and a recliner when they wanted to relax. She also was thinking about the children. These were made of microfiber material and would be easy to clean. When the 6 of them met for lunch, there was a lot for them to talk about. Perry had bought several tools that they would need for the house and had also bought a riding lawnmower. They had bought little things, and the car was already pretty much full. Della told them about what they had bought for the house. Perry, I want you to go with me to look at a couch. An end table set that I think you will like. It has 4 recliners and can be used as a couch. It is made of a microfiber material and we can get it any color that we would like. The couch will be here in 7 to 10 days. The living room is blue, so I would like to get the blue couch if that is what you would like, Della offered him. Well, once we eat we can go down and look at some of the furniture. Best Buy is right next door and we have plans to go and buy our big screen televisions. Perry told her. Lunch was good and they all needed the rest. As they went out to look at the furniture, Perry, Paul and Mike were polite and looked at each piece carefully. Perry liked the couch that Della had picked out for the family room. And they found a couch that they both agreed on to go into the formal living room also. By the time the men left the room, Della had her 3 couches, her breakfast table and chairs, and their sleigh bed that they had both decided they would want in their bedroom. The set came with a large mirrored dresser and 2 extra bureaus. It also came with matching nightstands. It was going to be a beautiful master bedroom when they were done. The house was starting to come together, and now that the painter had finished his job, the house was ready for the new furniture. There were so many different types of dishes for them to choose from that Della passed on buying any at that time. She did pick up some everyday glasses so that they could at least have something to drink while they were at the new house working on it. It was after 4 when the 3 ladies left the mall. The next step was to choose what kind of floor coverings and window curtains would go best in the house. Della was going to call a lady that did windows on Monday, and the next weekend the 3 of them made plans to go shopping once again. As the days went by, time seemed to stand still and then go like a racehorse for Perry and Della. The trial had finally ended with Perry winning an acquittal for his client on Friday afternoon. It had been a long, tiresome trial, and Della was glad when the verdict had come in not guilty. For a short while she was afraid that it was not going to be a not guilty call. But she knew that Perry had done his best to prove his client's innocence. There had been an eyewitness, but many times eyewitnesses were mistaken. The lady had been sure, but their client could not have been there during the time that she said he was. Their client had been at work. On Tuesday evening the lady had come by to do the measurements on the windows, and Della showed her what she wanted for curtains. The 3 girls worked together well and had chosen each pattern carefully. The house was going to be a home soon. Of that they were all sure. But their time was now getting short, and the wedding was just 5 weeks away. This was to be the girls' last chance to choose out the rugs. They headed to the rug store and picked out each and every rug and chose which room the handmade rugs would be placed in. The furniture was due to be delivered on Wednesday, so Della set it up so that the rugs would be delivered on Monday. This would give her a chance to make sure everything was perfect. There was going to be a man coming over on Thursday to install the televisions. 3 of the 4 televisions that they had bought were to be wall-mounted, with the television in the formal living room was to be sitting on a stand. The television that Perry and the guys had chosen for the downstairs was a 72-inch. Della thought that it was too big, but the other televisions were just 52 inches, and in the rooms they would be fine. Anything smaller than that would have been hard to see from across the room. It seemed that every day something else had to be done, and the wedding was getting closer and closer. This Thursday Della would be having her fitting at the bridal shop. But this time all 5 of her bridesmaids and Lori were going to be there. It was their big fitting just before the wedding. When Della arrived at the dress shop, Carrie was already busy with Sue and Donna and Gertie. The 3 of them were keeping Carrie very busy. They were all excited and were talking all at once. Della walked over and calmed the 3 of them down. Della knew that they would be noisy when they were together and laughed when Carrie was trying to get them to calm down. Della's best friend would be there for the wedding, and Carrie was going to do her best to have the dress that she was going to wear to the wedding. Carrie was nervous though about doing a dress fitting long distance. Nancy would not be there until a week before the wedding, and she would have to hurry to make sure that the dress looked right. The fitting was long and loud, and the girls did not leave the dress shop for almost 3 hours. Della took them out to dinner and then over to her new house. The house was starting to look nice, and she had found a place for the painting that she and Perry had bought that day on the pier next to the Queen Mary. It was to hang in the family room above the couch. The rugs and the furniture looked great, and although there were many items left to buy and move over to the house, you could now take a seat and have a drink while you were there. Donna and Gertie had not seen the house and loved it right away. They laughed as they looked into each and every room. The five of them had a great day together. It was after 6 when they left the house and headed back home.